Barnaby and Finley's Sunny Meadow Adventure. Barnaby the bear was, to put it mildly, enormous. His fur was the color of warm honey, and when he smiled, which was often, his teeth looked like smooth, white pebbles. He loved his home in the sunny meadow, with its carpet of soft green grass and a dazzling array of colorful flowers that bobbed in the gentle breeze. Barnaby was a creature of comfort and quiet joy, happiest when munching on sweet clover or enjoying a long, sun-drenched nap. One bright morning, as Barnaby was happily munching on a patch of sweet clover, a flash of vibrant orange caught his eye. It was Finley, the fox. Finley was small and quick, a burst of fiery color against the green landscape. His tail, tipped with snowy white brush, swished with an energy that matched his bright, curious eyes. Finley was all about movement and discovery, always exploring and finding new things. Barnaby and Finley were the best of friends, though they were quite different. Barnaby was thoughtful and slow in his movements, enjoying long naps in the sun. Finley was a whirlwind of playful energy, always exploring and discovering new things. Their friendship was a perfect balance, like the sun and the wind in the meadow. "Good morning, Barnaby," Finley chirped, his voice like the tinkling of tiny bells. He bounded over to Bear, his bushy tail wagging furiously, scattering a few delicate bluebells in his wake. "Good morning, Finley," Barnaby rumbled, his voice a low, comforting sound like the buzzing of bees. "What adventures are you planning today?" Finley's eyes sparkled with excitement. "I just saw the most amazing butterfly, Barnaby. It had wings like stained glass, all shimmering reds and blues. It flew towards the whispering woods. Shall we go and find it?" Barnaby considered for a moment. The whispering woods was a little further than his usual wanderings, but the thought of seeing a butterfly with wings like stained glass was rather appealing. And going with Finley always made things interesting. "All right, Finley," he agreed, his large paws rustling the grass as he stood up. "Lead the way." So the enormous bear and the cheerful fox set off across the meadow. Finley darted ahead, his orange for a bright beacon, while Barnaby followed at a more leisurely pace, his gentle presence accompanying anchor in the lively landscape. They weaved through patches of sunny yellow dandelions, past clusters of vibrant pink clover, and around tall stalks of purple wildflowers. The air was filled with the sweet scent of blossoms and the gentle hum of bees. As they walked, Finley chattered nonstop, recounting tales of the busy bees he'd seen, the plumpest berries he'd tasted, and the funny way a family of rabbits had hopped across his path. Barnaby listened with a smile, enjoying Finley's infectious enthusiasm. He loved hearing about the small wonders Finley discovered, things he might have missed in his own slow meanderings. Soon, they reached the edge of the whispering woods. Sunlight dappled through the leaves, creating dancing patterns on the forest floor. The air smelled of damp earth and pine needles, a different scent than the sweet meadow. Finley, ever the brave explorer, plunged into the shadows, his bright for a small flame in the dimness. Barnaby followed, his large frame carefully navigating the trees, making sure not to step on any delicate ferns. Deeper into the woods they went, the sound of the meadow fading behind them, replaced by the rustling of leaves and the chirping of unseen birds. Finley's sharp eyes scanned every leaf and flower, searching for the magnificent butterfly. He ducked under low branches and peered into hollow logs, his curiosity leading the way. Barnaby moved slowly, his large presence accompanying warmth in the cool woods. He enjoyed the quiet solitude of the forest, the way the light shifted and played through the canopy. Suddenly, Finley stopped dead in his tracks, his nose twitching. "I smell something sweet," he whispered excitedly, his tail giving a tiny, hopeful wag. Barnaby sniffed the air. Indeed, there was a delicious, honey-like aroma drifting through the trees, making his stomach rumble. His eyes widened slightly at the thought. They followed the scent, their curiosity piqued. The smell grew stronger, sweeter, leading them deeper into the heart of the woods. It led them to a small clearing bathed in a golden light, almost as if a ray of sunshine had found its way directly to this one spot. In the center of the clearing stood an old, gnarled oak tree, its branches reaching wide, and buzzing around its trunk was a hive of busy bees. But what truly made their eyes widen was the sight of thick, golden honey dripping from a crack in the bark, flowing like a slow, sweet river. Finley's eyes widened. "Oh, Barnaby, look!" he exclaimed, his voice hushed in wonder. Barnaby's mouth watered. He loved honey more than almost anything in the world. This looked like the purest, most delicious honey he had ever seen. Carefully, he reached out a large paw, his claws extended just enough to scoop up a small amount of the sticky sweetness. He brought it to his mouth and tasted it, and a deep, satisfied rumble echoed in his chest. "The best honey I've ever tasted, Finley," he declared, his voice thick with delight. They spent a happy while in the clearing, savoring their discovery. Barnaby gently scooped out honey with his paw, taking slow, contented licks. Finley, too small to reach the main flow, carefully licked the drips that fell on the leaves below, his little pink tongue working furiously. They didn't find a stained glass butterfly that day, but they found something equally wonderful, a shared moment of sweet delight in the heart of the whispering woods. It was a secret treasure, just for them. As the sun began to dip toward the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Barnaby and Finley made their way back to the sunny meadow. Their bellies were full of delicious honey, and their hearts were full of the warmth of their friendship. They knew that even without grand adventures or magical butterflies, their days spent together, whether in the bright meadow or the shady woods, were always beautiful and filled with joy. They arrived back in their meadow as twilight began to settle, the air growing cooler and the first stars appearing in the deepening sky. The colorful flowers of the meadow seemed to glow softly in the fading light. As they lay down side by side amongst the familiar blossoms, they drifted off to sleep, dreaming of sunny skies, sweet honey, and the happy companionship that made their little corner of the world so perfectly wonderful. And they knew, with the certainty of true friends, that tomorrow would bring another day of shared wonders.